Hey guys, this is Techo Freak here, and welcome to episode 7 of my Let's CS custom story creation tutorial for Amnesia. And we're here and we're ready to go. Today's episode is going to be keys. Last time we did notes, so now we're going to do keys. So we're going to use a little bit of what we learned last time to help us with the keys. And the keys are going to be a bit more challenging, so pay close attention and rewatch as many times as you need. It might get a little confusing, but stick it to the end and I'm sure we'll get it. Alright, so we're going to go into the maps folder and we're going to go into the templates. In here I have a new file called episode 7, and once again you can find this file by looking down in the description or clicking on the screen if I put one on the screen, and you can go ahead and download the file, and you can get this file right here called episode 7. And if you open it up, and I'm going to change the language to C++, just so it looks a little bit more clear. Here I just wrote how everything's going to work and everything like that. These are written instructions just in case you don't want to watch the video, or if you watch the video but you need a little bit more information, you can look through here and it'll give you more details. I'm going to try my best to explain everything here through the video, but I'm not actually going to be on this document. I'm going to do it on the side, but I'm going to use this just so I can get the code over from here and explain it on the other one. So before we get into any of this, let's do something over here. So we're going to write the next bit of code in a script file. The script file has the name of the map that you're going to run it on. So in this case we have room 01, and we want this script to run with this map right here. To do that, all we need to do is rename this to that right there. But before that, this has some pre-written code that I did before just to help you guys, and you feel free to use it as a reference. But what I want to do is go ahead and copy this and paste it right in here. So now I'll get a map name, copy, and I'm going to rename it to the name of our map. In this case it's going to be room 01. So when the map room 01 starts up, it's going to go ahead and look for a script file that's named room 01, and it's an HPS, which marks it as a readable file for this map file when it starts up. So now let's go ahead and open the room 01, and once again change the language to C++. Let's close this other file right here. I don't think we're going to need it. And we just have 7 and room 01, and I think that's good enough. Let's go ahead and get this enlarged over here. Alright, so one thing I want to do is just erase all of this code. Yep, erase it all. So I'm talking all of this. We wanna leave these here, the void on start and on enter and on leave, but also I will delete all of them just so I can show you guys from the start. So let's say you just create this file brand new. It will be room01.hps. So we need some main functions to get us started and to actually write some code. These main functions are known as on start, on leave, and on enter. So these are the various types of main functions you can run. Basically, there's you can run the functions on the start of the map. You can run the functions on the moment you leave the map, or you can run it when the player enters the map again. So if you have like a door that you can go through and the player's leaving the map and going to another one, it would run any of these functions. But we're going to be using on start. Let's go ahead and erase this and actually write the code that we're going to want. We're going to do void, if I can move this, void on start, and then we're going to do 2 parentheses like that. We're going to hit enter, curly bracket, space, space, curly bracket, and that's pretty much it. But just for some little I guess I don't know, I'm kind of used to putting these lines here to like indicate the start of the script. Remember the double lines, anything past the double lines would not be included, so you're safe putting those there. It won't matter. So let's double check. Yep, that's how it looks. And now we can just go down again, 2 more, to void on enter. Again, curly brackets, space, enter, curly brackets. And go down again, void on, and then we're going to do leave. Close these, curly brackets, space again, curly brackets. Alright, so now I just want to split these guys up. I like making little labels for me, so I'm going to do on start of map. Let's do on entering the map. Of course, you guys don't need to do this, but you know, just since you guys are starting off, it would be helpful to know that. On leaving the map. And of course I screwed up. On leaving the map. Alright, so let's fix this F. So in here we already have all the main functions we need to actually start writing some code and actually start doing something. So this is all we need to get the room01.hps going, and we can actually start doing things. So I say we go right ahead and we start working on the keys. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this episode 7 thing, and here I'm just going to have all the code that I'm going to take from, and I'm going to use it. But before that, let's get to our level editor, and let's get our key made, and let's get our door that we want to open. So I'm going to lock this door over here. If you guys been watching, this one's locked and this one's open. I want to make this one to be locked. So I'm going to check this box here and lock it and make sure it's locked. Alright. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to rename the door. So let's say this room is called is a storage room. I'm going to name it storage room door. Of course, this could be named whatever you want. If you want to call it derp, you could name it derp. It doesn't really matter. But just because you want to make sure you know what door you want to link things to, I technically like to use the name of what the room is, and then like room, and then just door. So if it was like the kitchen, that wouldn't be a room, so I would just do like kitchen door, or storage room door, or bedroom door. So you know, just use some things along those lines. And if you have multiple of those, you can always add like a 1 at the end, and you know, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that's there, and I'm gonna hit save to make sure it's saved. Alright, so at this point we have a door and it's named. We don't need to configure anything else at this point. The door just needs a name, and that's fine. So now I want to set a key in this wardrobe over here. That's what I was thinking. Just put a key in this wardrobe, the one that the player is going to have to find to open the door. So let's go ahead and go here. Now we're going to go ahead and go into entities, because the keys are under the keys is an entity because the player can interact with it, and it's listed under item, just like the note. Actually, it's directly under the note, I think. Maybe not. Well, you go down to the K's and you can see all the types of keys. So just choose whichever model of the key you want to use. In this case, I want to use the study key. It's a fairly common key and it's kind of generic. So I'm going to get that one and I'm going to put it down. And there it goes. We have the key already in the map. So now we want to name this key, and we want to link it. We want a name that will link it to the door. Again, it's not mandatory, but you know, just so you can keep track of your code and know where everything is going and what it is. We just want to make sure it's named properly with the door. So in this case, I'm going to name it storage room key. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now there's also one more thing we have to configure past this. Yeah, this is the name. This is the name we're going to use in that file there. But in entity, we want to also write in here. As you can see, it already gives you a description. It says you can input item description, item name, and we can make changes to that in the lang file. Well, that's the that's the same file we went to for the notes, where we inputted information for the notes. So if you haven't noticed the pattern yet, actual words and information go inside the lang file, which is kind of why it's named the language file. It's supposed to interpret language, and it's supposed to put descriptions for things like that, because it's not necessarily a script, it's language that the person can understand. So that's kind of what it is. So we want to add a description for this key. So in this case, kind of like the note, we're going to have to put an entry here. And again, just like the note, I'm going to use the same name here because they won't conflict because they're two different files. So I'm going to put the same name there and here. So it's going to be storage room key. I'm going to go ahead and save the map. Well, first I'm going to hit enter here and save the map. Alright, so now we have a key named storage room key, and then its subname is storage room key, which we will use for the language file. Zoom out a little and let's go to this door. Let's click on it, and this is named storage room door. So that's pretty much all we need to do. Now just doing that, there's no way these two can interact with each other. You can't make that key understand that it has to open this door except through a script. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So now that we have our key and everything, we're going to put this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Notepad++. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it and pin it to the right side so I can see this and my level editor. So now, first thing we want to do is we want to run a function. We want to use a collide callback, and we're gonna put that in one of the main functions. So the way it's gonna work, we have a main function, and this main function is gonna run something. So it's gonna run these functions on the start of the map. So there's on start, there's on enter, and there's on leave. We want these functions to run on the start. So now if we head over to the episode 7.hps file, we can see right here where I use an example of it. The first line of code we want to use, and the first one you guys are going to be doing, is this one right here. Add use item callback. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it over here. So I'm going to go back over to room 01, and now we're going to run this function the moment that the map starts. So I'm just going to have to figure out a way to explain it properly, but just bear with me. So in this case, we're going to add a use item callback. We want, when you use an item, to call back a function. So I guess you can think of this as you're adding a new trigger. So you want to trigger something to happen when somebody uses an item. And what will it trigger? Well, the callback is going to or as I want to call it, a trigger, so you guys can understand it better. When this thing is triggered by the use of an item, it's going to run another function, and this function is going to have what we want to happen. So let's just go through this and parse through this here. So first off here, these I believe is just for some information purposes, if you want to make sure you know what key it is. So let's say you inputted a key name that's named, let's say, derp, and the door named herp. Then in here you might wanna write like storage room key and door or whatever. This is just for illustration purposes so you can see it. I don't really find no point in that. If I really wanted to write something like that, I would do the 2 slashes and then write whatever it is over here. So I just leave that blank, and I just leave the 2 quotation marks right there. Next is the key name. So now we're going to write the name of the key in the map. So the name of the key was, if you recall, storage room key. Let's go ahead and input that here. Alright. So now we have storage room key. And now we have this other one called door name. So now we just want to input the door name. And I'll explain all of this as soon as we finish it, and I'll go parse through it and just tell you what's going on here. So door name, it's going to be storage room door. and that's about it for those. So the key, the door, and now a function name. So what we want is that when the key is used, so let me just I'll explain it now. So when the item is used, it's going to call back a function, or it's going to trigger a function. So it's saying when the item storage room key is used on the storage room door, it's going to run a function, and a function will do something. Alright, that's as simple as I can put it. And true, I can't remember what that means. Let's see. True. I wrote it down somewhere, True. Did I already hear somewhere? I believe true will delete the. It won't let you repetitively use it. If anything, I'll put an annotation here if I'm wrong. But I believe this will let you use the key multiple times on the same door, letting you run the function multiple times. But in this case, we want it to be true that it will delete when you use the key, so it won't repeat itself. If it were set to false, then you could continuously open the door, but again, it's a door and it's gonna open after the first time, so you just want to set it to true and to just open once. So now that's pretty much all we have to do for the onStart Now, since we told this that when these two link with each other, so when you use the key on the door, it's going to run a new function. So in this case, we're going to have to write that new function, and we're going to have to make it so that it understands that sorry if I'm mumbling here, but you have to make it so that it runs a new function, and that new function is going to be listed somewhere else. So we're going to have something similar to this void on start. We're voiding a whole new thing here, and it's going to be the same name as this function here. So let's go over to the episode 7 here, and I'm going to copy this line of code right here. So it's the void function name, this jargon here that I'm going to explain in a sec, and then the curly brackets. So let's paste this right here. So we're keeping it away from the inside of this onStart, because this is a whole nother function. You're voiding a brand new function, and the function is just running things inside of it, and in this case, whatever it ran is calling for a new function that's named function name. And this new function is gonna, and then this one right here is gonna look for the new function somewhere in the script. In this case, if it looks right down, it will find void function name. It will say, oh, function name. That's the same name as mine. So then this must be what I'm gonna run at this instance when this item is used on this door, or when this item is used on this other entity, more generally speaking. So in that case, we wanna write some functions in here. But before that, let me explain what this is. So like I said, the key on the door is gonna run a brand new function, and that function is listed right here. But what's the difference between this onStart, onEnter, onLeave, and this one? Well, if it was just like that, it might mistake it as a main function named function name, and things might not work very well. Well, this piece right here in the parentheses, unlike this has nothing to fill. This one has something filled up here. The string and in as item, string and in as entity. So basically, this is an identification that this is an item being used on an entity. So this is so this line over here, when it says add use item callback, it's going to look for a voided function that has this label right here, string and in as item, string and in as entity. So it's going to look for a function that's clearly labeled that it's an item being used on an entity. So this kind of lets it interact with this one, lets it know. So the other piece of identification at this stage is this part right here. It's going to call this function name right here, and it's going to see it right here. Well, we want to change these two to be whatever we want. In this case, I'm going to change it up here. It's going to look for the function, and the best way to go with this would be storage room. Wait, I forgot what I used. I like to use it a bit more, organized, and I think in this episode 7 thing, I used the correct one. Open storage. Yeah, that's right. This is what I typically like to use when since this is going to run a new function, I like to get the idea of what the function is going to be. So I can do open storage room. So the script is going to open the storage room. Of course, you don't need to do this, but it just keeps it a bit more organized, and it'll help you look for the code that you need when you start getting 500 plus lines of code down here. So let's go ahead and remove this and write open storage room. And now we renamed it, so it's going to, when this item is used on this door, it's going to run the function open storage room, and it'll look for it. It'll see, oh, okay, open storage room. I found the function, and it is voided, so it exists. And the identification here says that, oh yes, it's an item that's going to be used on an entity. So I will run this function, but there's nothing inside of it to run. So that's kind of why we need to put something in here. So if we go back to my episode 7.hps, and we go down here, we can see where I use this same instance. I'm gonna copy this one right here, though. Remember, this is all in that. If we come back here, it's in map name. This is the same one that these functions are found in there if you ever need to find them, or you can look in the episode 7 that I set up for you guys to help you guys out. And if I miss any details, you might even be able to find it in here. So keep an eye if you want to keep this handy with you if you ever forget, or if you need to look for something. All right, so. Now that we copy that, we paste it inside here. So now what is it? So this is similar to what we did up here on the void on start, except now we're doing it with a different function of a different type. So because we don't want all this stuff to happen. You don't want the door to be unlocked the moment that you start the map. You want it to happen when you use the key on the door. So basically, you have to tell it to run a brand new function when these two things occur. So at that point, it will find the function and it will run it. So at this point, it will run all the functions that are needed to unlock this door and make the sound effects and everything like that. Alright, so now let's explain these next parts right here. So let me do them one by one so you guys don't get too confused. I'm going to copy the first line. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. So first line, it's going to be set swing door locked. So these doors over here, the ones that you can open and close, are called swing doors in the script. The level doors, the one that you usually take and it takes you to a whole new area, those are called level doors, like I just said. Level doors because they take you to a brand new level, and swing doors because you swing these open and close. I don't know why they can't just say, something else, but that's how it is in the code, and that's how it's going to have to be. So, set swing door locked. So, we want to set a lock priority. So, we're going to configure the settings on the swing door. In this case, whether it's locked or not. So, first, over here, we have to identify which door it is we want to change. So in this case, the door is storage room door. Storage room and door. Storage room door. And now, the next two parts here will identify whether it's going to be locked or it's going to be open. In this case, the next line states false. So this means that the door is whether the statement locked is true or false. So so swing door locked. Is it true or is it false? So if it were true, that means yes, it is locked. It's true that it is locked. In this case, we have false, So we're saying that false, it's going to be locked. So if it's not, if it is locked, it's going to make sure that it's unlocked. This next part, I forgot what that part does. Let's see, did I mention it here? It doesn't look like I did. So this would be a good time to show you guys the website where all of this is listed. So if I go to Engine Scripts, I'm going to do a Google search on that. Right here in the Frictional Games website, I'll put a link in the description. I did it for the first few episodes. We can find all of this. You see void on start, void on enter, the same things I just showed you guys. There's even another one called void on game start on the whole game. So, you know, but we don't want to do any of those at the moment. We're going to look for doors, I believe. Yes. And as you can see, set swing door locked, and there's closed, but we're looking for locked. So, in this case, the string name as name. So this is what I showed you guys, the name of the door, whether it's locked or not. And the last one seems to be for effects. And here gave a description of what it is. So if you want to have the lamp fade in / out when it gets unlit. Oh, now I remember this. So basically, when the door is unlocked, you want like his light to flicker. I guess to give you the feeling that you unlocked the door. Like when you unlock a door, you're gonna have to put your lantern down and put the key in and everything. But you get to choose this, whether it's gonna flicker or not. So true means that, you know, he's gonna bring it down real quick just to unlock the door. So that's just for effects. So that's all that last part does. So you can set that to true or false. I guess you set it to true. In this case, I'm gonna leave it at true. Just stick it with the effect. So now let's go one more line down in these curly brackets. And go up to episode 7.hps again. So now we're going to get the next line. This one's a lot simpler than the one from before. Let's go ahead and paste this guy in here. So now we want to play a sound at the entity. So the entity is where you are. So that's going to play a sound immediately. Here, the space, just like the one above here for add use item callback, you get to put a little space for naming. So if you want to, if like say you wanted to name this game, we're going to unlock the door. So you can write like something like unlock door sound. So then, you know, that's just a sound that's just to let you know what's going on in here. But again, very unnecessary because we can always use the // for any information we need on there. So I'm just gonna leave that blank. Next is going to be unlock_door. So this is the sound effect that's going to play when this function is ran. So the moment that the key interacts with the door is going to run this function. This function is going to start up whatever's in this new function. And in this case, that function contains setting the door unlocked and playing its sound at the moment you unlock the door. And that sound effect is going to be unlocked door. So, you know, you can obviously use anything for this instead of unlock door. If you wanted to make like say a fart noise, you could use a fart noise or whatever. But we haven't gotten to sounds yet, so you know that's going to be around the corner sometime soon, and you guys will be able to see some sound effects and some music pretty soon. So don't worry about that. So unlock door is the default sound effect in the Amnesia folder, so everybody should have it. Also, they use SNT files as their sound files, so technically you can write in a .snt here, but not absolutely necessary for one that exists in the Amnesia folder. I'm not sure if it's the case for one of your own sounds. I'll figure that one out by the time we get to the episode about sounds. So next, the player is going to hear the sound effect. So if you wanted to play like say on an enemy, you could put the name of the enemy in here, and it would play out where the enemy is. But in this case, we want the player to hear it because the door is right in front of him. So we'll set it to player. The 0. Let's see. Did I mention what the 0 is? Let's see. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, yeah. 0 stands for the time it will take to fade away the sound effect. Yes. So, the 0 is when the sound is played, how long will it take to fade out? In this case, we don't want it to fade out because you're not in the hallway or anything. You're just unlocking the door, and that's it. So there won't be any fading out going there. It will just stop immediately after the sound is played. And then lastly, the false means that a repeat is off. So basically, this is going to be repeat equals. This might be a better way for you guys to understand it. So repeat equals repeat. Let's remove that S if I can get to it. So repeat equals false, or it equals true. And my typing is horrible. So repeat equals false or equals true. So will it repeat? True, false. In this case, false. Repeat will be off. So it won't constantly loop back to sound because you're only going to unlock the door once. We don't need it to keep going every time for who knows how long. I think it'll just go on forever until you change maps possibly. So we want to have that false because we only want to unlock sound to play once. Next is going to be remove item key name. Oh, well, sorry guys, it's late and I'm being stupid. So is the remove item function. So we're going to paste that in here in the next line. So this one's the easiest one out of all of them. You might already understand this one. So we want to remove an item from the player's inventory, and this item is named blank, and it ends the function there. So only one thing to input here, and in that case we want the item to disappear from the player's inventory. So as you may already know if you've played Amnesia, which I'm sure you have if you're trying to learn how to make a custom story for it, when you unlock a door, the key is gone from your inventory. You no longer have it. So in this case we want the same effect to happen. We want the key to be gone when the player opens the door. So here we're going to type in storage room key and semicolon. Save. Something I didn't mention, and I just want to mention to you guys, like why don't I use caps or whatever. Well, caps, remember it is cap sensitive. So storage room door and storage room door is not the same thing. These are two completely different functions, and they will not. So if this was named this over here, it'll be like, okay, so I'm looking for the function capital S storage room door, and it'll look for it, but it doesn't find any with like the capital S or with capital O or whatever, and it's like, nope, doesn't exist. Move on. So you want to make sure that you keep everything exactly the same, no change in caps or anything like that. So keep an eye out for that. And so at this we're pretty much done. I don't know if I mentioned what these curly brackets are. They state the beginning and the end to your function here. So this is kind of like the little open mouth over in the lang file. The slash marks the end and the beginning. So at this point we have let's run through this code, and let's move on to filling out the information. So we have a main function named void on start. So void, we're running the function for the first time on start. So the the parentheses is the identifiers. In this case, there are no identifiers because it's its own main function. Next, we have open curly brackets and ending curly brackets. These marks the beginning and the end of the space we're going to use to write functions inside of it. Next, inside of this, we're going to use an add use item callback. So we're going to use an item. So when an item is used on another entity, it's going to call back a function. Get familiar with that term, calling back a function. All it means is you're going to call another function. So that, I guess it kind of says it there. It's going to call another function. So it's just going to call in the line of script to do the work. Or you can call it a trigger. It's going to trigger something to happen. So the storage room key is the name of the key or the item, and this will interact with the entity named storage room door. And if this interacts with this successfully, then it will then it will run the function open storage room door. Open storage room, and it will only happen once, and it will not continue to happen ever again. Now we're going to declare this new function that we just created when these two collide, and we want it to actually open the door and all of that. So we're going to void that new function. So void open storage room. There it is. So when this is ran, it's going to look for this, but then it's going to look for some further identifiers. So string and in as item and as entity. So it's going to this is going to be the identifier that it can be used for this type of callback, because there are different types. And next episode we'll get into a different type, and I'll point this out again. So that's the identifier, and it'll make and at this point it knows that this is meant for this one up here. So now it's going to run the items inside of here, and it's going to set the swing door locked, being that door right here. So it's going to interact with this door over here, and something's going to happen to it. In this case, it being locked is false. So locked equals false. So it will not be locked. And if it is locked, it will unlock it to make this statement false. And true is whether you want the player's lamp and stuff to go off and on the moment that they open the door, just for a little bit of effect there. Next, we want to play the unlock sound for the door. Here we don't need input for any information because we don't want to mark anything at that point. We want the unlock door sound to play, which is a sound found in your Amnesia files. We'll talk about adding more later, like your own ones. Not that difficult either. So we want the entity to play to the player, so we want the player to hear it. We don't want it to fade out. We want it to just end at the moment it's done playing, and we don't want it to constantly loop back and forth the same sound effect. So we'll set this to false. So repeat is false. And lastly, we're going to remove the item, which is storage room key, from the player's inventory, because he's not going to use it again. He doesn't need it anymore. So we're going to remove the item from his inventory, and that's going to be it. Remember that semicolons end the statement. So in this case, we're ending all of these at that point, and we're not adding anything more. And then the curly brackets, of course, end the whole function here. So that's about it. I gave it the whole download. I believe I explained everything at this point. Now it's the easy stuff, which is if you guys did the no tutorial before the episode before this one, this part should be really simple if you guys already did it beforehand. So let's go ahead and open our extraenglish.lang file. Again, if you guys did this with me, you should know. Here it is, extraenglish.lang. Let's pin this back here again, pop this back up. So again, language ++, just need to see it like that. And now we did the journal thing, the wake up. When you wake up, head over to my room or whatever. And also from last time, I left in this line of code right here. I actually want to edit up a little just because it looks a little ugly. Okay, let's end this over here. Alright, so that's so here again, category name, we're declaring a new category. In this case, it's going to be inventory. I believe this is a mandatory name because it's going to tell you that it's just for your inventory items. So I believe this needs to be a mandatory name, inventory. So we're opening this new category and we're ending it all the way down here. But in between these, we're going to run some new things. It's the entry name. So we're entering a new entry, and it's ending over here, terminating by the slash. And in between these is going to be the item name underscore key subname. Same thing under here, but it's going to be item description. So and then your key description and your key name goes in there. So let's go ahead and fill these out. So remember, just like the note, we're not going to be using this name right here. We're going to be using the name we set down at the bottom here. Let's go to our key real quick so I can show you guys. If I can actually get in here, let's see. Here we go. Alright, so storage room key is the name. but we're going to be using the name that's listed in here. So if you use something different, you know, use the one over here. But since I like naming them both, like I said, to avoid confusion in the last episode with the notes, we're going to do the same with the key. So this is named exactly the same as the script, and we don't need to bother with the whole naming shenanigans there. So we're going to fill in this information here, move these two asterisks. It's going to be storage room key. Double check the spelling, storage room key. Just copy this. As a matter of fact, you'll have to highlight it. Copy that. Do this and paste it there. So you're adding a new item name and item description to for these two right here. Alright, so at that point we're telling it that we're adding a new item name for this key, we're adding a new description for this key. So in this case, our name, let's call it storage room key. So since this is the text that the player is going to see, you can write this however you want, it won't matter. This is what the player is going to see when he when he opens up his inventory and he hovers above the key. He's going to see storage room key as the name of the key, of course. And then key description, I guess we'll write something like, this seems to be the, or actually even better, the label, actually not even, alright, this seems to be the key for the storage room. So you can pretty much write whatever you want in there. In this case, I'm going to keep it simple. This seems to be the key for the storage room. If you wanted to head him to lead the player in the right direction, you might want to say, this is for the storage room, second door before the exit, or whatever. So, you know, it's supposed to help the player give a bit more description to where the key is going to go. So at that, that's pretty much all the information we need to fill out here. We can go ahead and save all of our work that we did, and we can actually start the map up now to test our newly configured stuff. So hope you guys are excited to start it up. Go ahead and minimize this here, and let's copy the folder from our desktop. I already have my Redis folder pulled up. Going to go into custom stories, delete the previous one that we did in episode 6, and replace it with the new one. A good idea to do is to archive all of these, so you know, if you're replacing it with an old one after a bunch of changes have been done, you may want to copy it, rename it like V1 for version 1, version 2, version 3, until your map is complete, just to make sure that if you lose the latest one, you know which one's your latest one, you don't lose anything like that. So it's just up to you. So yeah, so let's go ahead and actually start up the map for the second time. No, never mind. Well, yeah, it's late, guys. I'm sorry if I'm tired of having had sleep in a while. Let's just leave it at that. Surprised I can even be doing this. So, you know, let's just hurry up and start up this map. So, yeah, I'm going to have to pause the video. I'll see you guys when I start up the map. Alright, guys, I am back and I am in our map. It started up no problem. Everything seemed perfectly fine. So, again, let's just go back to our note. Whatever. Okay, so I gotta head to the room. So I should probably get the key from the closet to find a way out of here since this door is locked. So, first of all, the door locked. This one over here, the one that we set locked, it is locked as well. So let's go ahead and open this, and let's grab the key that we have placed in here. If you click it, we can see we picked up the storage room key. That's what we wrote in the extra English dot line. So now let's go ahead and open up our inventory with, I believe, tab. We hover above here, we see storage room key. That's the title of the key, and it says this seems to be the key for the storage. I forgot the room, didn't I? We'll add that in right after we finish this. So you know, double click. So remember, when I use the item on this entity being the door, it will run those functions that are set. In that case, it will be the unlock door, play the sound effect, and remove the key from my inventory. So let's click it. the door unlocked, the sound played, and if I hit tab, I no longer have the key. So now if we open the door, it opens, no issue. Check that out. Isn't that nifty right there? Alright, so I guess that's about it. I think this is going to be a pretty long episode to upload. You might have to skip through because I just wanted to be very clear with all the code, especially since it's the first time we get into it. If I missed anything or you guys don't understand anything, feel free to comment. If you guys are a watcher of this, I comment to any comments that are posted below. Or if you have more of a problem, you don't want other people to know, just you can always PM me at this YouTube channel. And yeah, so projects for upcoming episodes. Next episode, I plan to work on script areas. At least that's the plan. After that, for my 10 episode special, I hope to actually do some enemies. But there's still some basics I want to show you guys. So I'm thinking for episode 10, either timers or enemies. I'll get let you guys decide. If we get two leaning to one for episode 10, which I'm gonna try and release this weekend. If I get 2 comments for enemies, I'll do enemies for episode 10. Basic stuff for enemies, that is. Or if you want to learn timers for episode 10, and then the following episode we can do a more advanced thing for enemies, for more configuration purposes and stuff like that. So 2 comments on either or. If it's even, I guess I'll flip a coin on it, and if nobody comments for either one, then I'll just go with whatever I feel like it. Alright guys, so don't worry, I'll keep the series up as long as I can. It's been busy, guys, so I'm gonna try and do as many on the weekend as I can. I'm hoping 3 for this weekend. Yeah, I already have 3 scripts planned for this weekend. So let's hope everything goes well. All right, guys. If you guys watched this far and you've heard me blabble on for who knows blabble. Wow. If you heard me talk for all this long, I'm sure you want to go and try out the stuff for yourself. So go ahead and go take care of it. But it'd be interesting to learn new projects and everything. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Like it, favorite, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode.